In this video, we're going to be looking at how to change your front turn signals on your Chevy Trailblazer, and we'll be looking at some LED upgrades as well. Now this only covers models that did not have that front grille lip that covered over the headlight housing, so only on the later models, but the fundamentals are ultimately the same. It also doesn't apply directly for other sister cars like the Oldsmobile Bravada and GMC Envoy, but as I mentioned before, principles are similar. And that's all coming up right now on Nexus Auto. So, what do you need to get this job done? Not too much. You need a flathead screwdriver, some electrical tape, a couple of these connectors here to splice in the resistor, your 3157 LED, a 194 LED, pliers of some sort, something to crimp this is really just to crimp this, your resistor. And for me, I need a cloth as well. I'll show you why in a second, but you shouldn't need the cloth under most circumstances. But let's get right to it. So first, you got to get the actual headlight off. That's actually pretty easy and also pretty hard on the Trailblazers and Envoys. Trailblazer apparently is a little harder than the Envoys themselves, but you just got to lift this one clamp up here, and there's another one back there. That's what you need the flathead for, especially the one in the back. It's a little tricky to get to. Actually, this here I should be able to. Oh, sometimes they're they get gummed up or whatever, so just go and pull it right up. You're gonna go in there. Same thing. Here's an annoyance on the Trailblazer because underneath here you'll see clips. Let's show you there. 1, 2, and there's another one here. And they're really hard to kind of lift over the bumper. The bumper actually sits right under. So you've got to kind of lift this out and forward and then lift up and at the same time pull the bumper down and away to try and clear it. It's a bit of a pain. There. So once you get that one kind of cleared, the other two tend to come much easier. See? Not impossible, just annoying. Alright, so now this is what I needed the cloth for. Now, because I've run LEDs here and I didn't put a quick disconnect there, my mistake in that, I should have done that. I can't just take these lights out, so I have to lay this on the bumper. So if you're ever going to run LEDs like that on there, make sure to put quick disconnects, make it easy. Just to give myself a little room, the 194 bulb, which we're changing anyways, I'm going to pull that out. That actually holds the housing in. Doesn't have a lot of play in the wire. Very awkward to get to. I'm going to twist this. That's more room. It's supposed to be pushed in and twist, but man, this one is. Alright. What I'm going to do is we're going to get the pliers, the same ones. I'm going to try and grab. Alright, we're going to start off with the easy one first, which is the 194 bulb. I've already got it out of there. Getting this, I don't know why this one was so hard. Normally they're not that hard to get out. This one was really, even when I loosened it out, because you twist this way. So here, and then you twist like that. And then you're supposed to be able to pull out, but it was really jammed in there. I'm not sure why, but got it out. So we're just going to pull the bulb right out. That's it. And we're going to put the new one in. Now, as I've always said, 194 bulbs are polarity sensitive. So we're going to make sure to put on the hazard lights just to make sure that this flashes. If not, we'll have to switch them around. Alright, so now you can see didn't work this way, so we'll turn around. It does work that way. Just going to really make sure it's in there good, and you're all set. Alright, so now we're going to do the other bulb here. That's just a 3157. Now, I have read on some forums that this actually use a 3157 CK bulb. I think it varies from model to model. GM was messing around with these CK bulbs. There's no real rhyme or reason to which models work. This one just works with the standard 3157. But just keep that in mind. You may have a 3157 CK. So this just opens and twists. You're just going to pull that bulb right out. This one's kind of flaking on me here. We're just going to pop this one in. And the same thing with this. We're going to put on the hazards momentarily just to test it out to see if it works. Hey, guess what it does? That's bright, isn't it? But looks like we got it first time around. When using a knife, you do want to be careful you don't cut the wires. So you want to make sure they're unwound so they look as straight. So if you see, for example, just like that, zoom in a bit. So if you have it like twisted like this, you start cutting, you may cut the wires because they're twisted inside. So you want to make sure when you do it, the wires look straight and that you can kind of separate them a bit. This one will be a little tricky because they're kind of wound on top of each other, but that's okay. You just put them in between the wires and gently move along. Just create a cut. Sometimes that'll be enough to kind of open it up. And sometimes not. This one here, I'm going to do a little more. Of course, safety first. Watch your fingers. You want to pull them as much back as you can. Give you enough access to these wires, not only just to give you access, but you want to be able to separate them. So see there. So that should be good. So you'll want to be using the end wire, the two ends. It'll normally be a black one for the ground and a blue one that does your signal. That's where you need to hook up the resistors to. Okay, so we're going to start off with the ground wire here. It doesn't matter which one you start off with, but that's just the one I'm starting off with. And we're going to feed the wire to the first part here. And then we're going to take our resistor, feed it to here, push it in, and then you got to actually clamp down on this. That'll create continuity between the two wires. And just flip this over, clamp it together. There you go. Now, I actually made a little mistake here. It's not a big deal, but I did make a mistake because I normally like to actually do this up here more, so it has some room, especially if I'm going to tape and everything. Unfortunately, I did kind of didn't look at that properly, so make sure you're move it a little bit up on the wire, just to give yourself a little room for when you're taping it up, which is what we're going to do right now. Let's pull a little bit of tape. It's a little awkward to get to. I'm just going to grab some tape. You'll have a lot of room to play with here, but we do our best. You want to create as much seal as you possibly can. You don't want moisture and stuff to get in there, shorten anything out. And then you do the same for the other wire as well. Alright, so you put the plug back in now. Now, truth be told, whenever you're dealing with these resistors, you should try to find a good spot for it where it's not going to be exposed to any plastic or anything like that. They can get hot, especially let's say you're at a long stoplight or something like that, running your hazards for a bit. They can get pretty warm. But unfortunately, unless you extend the wires out, there's not a lot of spaces to mount this. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to put it through the opening here, kind of feed it in, and it actually just hangs. Not the greatest thing, I know. But considering the layout and everything, that's the best I have. So now that's in there. Everything's all hooked up. We're going to put this back. And when we put this back, we're going to take our 194 bulb. This cloth. We're going to put the 194 back in. Hope it doesn't give us as much trouble. Oh, that went... Oh, it didn't go complete. No. Hope it doesn't give us too much trouble. Okay, that went in surprisingly easy. So working this back in is kind of the reverse, really. So you want to try and get it in, kind of go down in, so these clips at the bottom all clear behind the bumper, and then you kind of get these in and push these clips in, right? So it's all about kind of first doing that, just like that. That went in nice. And then you kind of push this, a little bit of force, you should be able to push down both. And you're all set there. Let's see how it looks, shall we? Thank you all very much for watching. I hope this video has helped you out here today. Let's go through some of the YouTube stuff, shall we? Don't forget to like and subscribe if this video has helped you out. And if you want to see my future videos, I try and put out one at least once a week. Make sure to hit notifications as well, just so you can get those videos. On the flip side to that, if you didn't like the video for whatever reason and you do dislike it, not a problem. Feel free to leave in the comments of why you disliked it, whether it be something I did wrong, whether it's something you didn't like in the video. By all means, just let me know so I can keep making the best content possible. It's kind of the whole point of it, so make sure to do that. Speaking of the comments, if you have any questions, concerns, anything you want to add on, anything you see you can do better, anything that maybe you add on and it actually is worse, whatever it is, feel free to leave it in the comments. Nothing wrong with that. I always try and answer whenever I can. It may not be the same day, next day, whatever, but I try and answer all comments, so make sure to leave that as well. Once again, I want to thank you very, very much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.